Welcome back. You're checking out some issues from me, Jim Traficant, right here on YouTube. Tell your friends, neighbors, they want to check out me on the issues. Click on YouTube, type in Jim Traficant channel, and we're going to get it on. I've talked a little bit about taxes, a little bit about the Federal Reserve Board, a little bit about my hard school days, changing the burden of proof, talking about America possibly imploding. And if this same core of Washington people continue on the program agenda that's being sponsored, America will surely implode. Now, implode means it'll blow up from within. You ever see these buildings being destroyed, being removed, and they have these bombs set inside, and when it goes off, it just collapses within? See, that's what happened to the Soviet Union. All the guns and missiles couldn't stop Humpty from falling off that wall. And boy, they did fall. Berlin Wall and all, didn't it? So when we look at what's happening, we got a number of these free trade agreements. And like I said earlier, Dan Rostenkowski and I are bitter enemies. He literally said, I can't have trafficking on my committee, because that's where they wanted me. Someone who's going to be strong, bring forward a workers' look at some of this legislation. He said, I can't accept trafficking. He said, I'll never pass another free trade agreement or another tax increase. It's true. He was right. Let's look at our trade program. Our borders are wide open. Send us your product. Just send it over. It's free trade. So as a result, we have a trade deficit approaching $750 billion per year. Japan has averaged $60 billion in trade surplus for the last 30, 35 years. Now there's a new player on the scene. China. China will probably do $350 to $400 billion in trade surpluses a year. They're buying nuclear attack submarines, attack aircraft, missiles, with our money. How dumb can we be? You buy a pair of sneakers, 17 cents. That's what it costs to make in China. 17 cents per pair. You'll pay $100 here in America. Maybe $150 if it's designer. Slave labor. And everybody's saying, well, the corporations have failed us. They moved out of America. Corporations didn't fail us. This is a free enterprise apparatus. At the bottom of this is called a term called profit. Corporations can't make a profit in America. In fact, they're going bankrupt in America. The Congress gave them no choice but to move out and build the product overseas and then ship it back. After all, free trade. Cost of doing business in America, too heavy. Why do it here? Let's think about this a minute. Let's talk about trade, and let's combine it with some economic policy. You're in business in America today, you got to deal with unemployment compensation, workman compensation, banking regulation, security regulation, minimum wage, local regulation, state regulation, Social Security, pensions, health insurance, unions, cost of doing business, manufacturing on an average of $25, $35 per hour. Move to Mexico. Not near the border, Because those Mexican workers are jumping around on the border trying to get a better job each week. So they go inside Brazil and inside those small little communities and little burgs and little boroughs down there in Mexico. They give people a breakfast and a lunch and pay them 35 cents an hour and make the product there. No environmental protection agency to worry about. No IRS agents. No OSHA agents. Unions? My God. Absolutely none. So what has happened? Our economic system has literally forced an evolution of production and manufacturing. And it's just not that acceptable to do it in America. General Motors is now government motors. Chrysler, no one seems to talk about this. 60% of Chrysler is owned by the federal government. 60%. The biggest auto manufacturer in the world is Uncle Sam. You see, under that trade and tax policy that I talked about in a previous YouTube about taxes, my tax plan would have a reciprocity trade agreement in it. But also be advised that every product that comes from overseas would be taxed the same as ours, and it's not protectionism. If that car made at General Motors is going to carry a 25% ticker, so is that Toyota made overseas. So is that Mercedes. It will begin to force foreign producers to move to America to save their transportation costs because the joyride's over. In addition, that bill triggers a trade mechanism, and it's very simple. It's called the trade reciprocity provision. If you as a country are loading our products, American products, or denying our American products, you'll be treated the same way here. So open up. You want fair treatment? You'll get it from us as long as we're getting it from you. And I know it's free trade, but they send 10,000 cars to a little port in Japan, and they have one person that works there, and he's sick 40 hours a week. And they approve 2 cars. And then we have all the Japanese cars go to some little port in New Jersey, and we have one worker part-time too. Now this might sound simplistic, folks, but this isn't brain surgery. If you buy more than you sell, you go bankrupt. We're now buying to the tune of $750 billion a year more than we sell. If you're a small business owner, listen to this, how could you stay in business? If you have to buy more than you sell. Do you think these big companies are any different? Not at all. See, once you couple the total, not reform, of our dollar money system, a total change of our dollar money system, with pragmatic, reasonable trade policies and a fair and equitable tax that everybody pays. And the more you work, the more you get paid. You don't reward dependency and penalize achievement. You reward work in personal industry. I thought that's what America was about. At least that's why my forefathers and my family came through Ellis Island. And Ellis Island is not a theme park. So when you come back on the next YouTube issue with Jim Traficant, I'll talk to you about immigration. Click on YouTube, Jim Traficant channel. Type in Jim Traficant channel. See you next.